So 0.4 is probably the biggest patch that we've ever seen. I'm so excited to talk about all the changes that they're making. But before we do that, I'm going to be interviewing Mickey Nielsen, who's the lead narrative director at Stormgate, and Tim Campbell on Friday. So that is going to be Friday, the 27th, 28th, whatever that is, about 4 days from when this video goes live. Which means that if you have questions for them about the campaign, development of the game, all of these things, drop them in the comments down below. I can't promise I'll ask everything. We are limited in time, but I will be sourcing questions from the questions down below. So if you have them, make sure to go drop them below, and hope you enjoy the interview that happens. That'll probably be dropping about a week from now. So let's talk about 0.4, because these patch notes are massive. They're telling us it's time to lock in. Yeah, I'm ready. I wish today was tomorrow because I want to play the new campaign. So they're saying, we set out to create an RTS experience that evolves over time, one that grows with you. So they're totally revamping the complete campaign overhaul. First 6 missions being redone, new interludes, new VO, new art, new hero customization to tailor your personal campaign experience. Yeah, I mean, this is what we were hoping for, right? The first campaign missions, I say this as a big Stormgate fan. The first look at the campaign was not good. It was really bad on every axis. So very excited to see what they're going to do. They're saying it was very, they're like, hey, this was our first look at it. Willing to take them at their word. I'm excited to see what they're going to do here. From the teaser trailer that they dropped the other day, it looks much better. They also bring new unit models for various Infernal and Vanguard units. By the way, I don't think this is the entire redesign. This is just some of the new units that we've seen. There will be more, I think. All new hero NPC models, rework of Amara's abilities in campaign, checkpoint save load. Awesome, so I can checkpoint save in the middle of a mission. New campaign post-match, a bunch of stuff. They do say that this is a preview of our launch campaign for testing purposes and not finished. They will continue to iterate and improve upon it. Also, all new unit models, new AI improvements for custom games, visual upgrades for Infernal Shroud, various balance changes, and I'm so excited about some of these balance changes, by the way. Let's get into this. So, first of all, they say, hey, we're going on sale. There's a Steam War Games Fest starting next week, which is, honestly, this is a good time for it. They got a new campaign. Please go try it. And by the way, Tempest Rising, which I got a review copy. I've been playing it because I want to support RTS games. The hotkeys are miserable, and the amount of AI they use makes me really sad. But it's doing really well. Top 5 on Steam. So, and when I say AI, I mean generative AI in their visual and audio assets, not necessarily the AI of their units. But that makes me sad. I'm still doing it because I want to support RTS is doing well. Maybe we'll make a video on it later. But point being, they're top 5 on Steam Store right now. So this is a great time. Hopefully the campaign is good enough that people are like, maybe we give it another chance. So patch notes. All workers will have a charge system to create. So that the video, the teaser trailer was actually, I thought they were just spawning a bunch of workers to show it off, but workers have a charge system like Infernals. So it looks like Infernals will have every, oh, I like these shred changes. 1 second. But it sounds like, so Infernal will still have the charge-based system, I'm assuming, but workers on every faction will have that. I wonder how that impacts prisms and morph cores. That's going to be interesting because, man, if you get 3 charges on a collection array, that is instant saturation. That's kind of broken. So we'll see. Targeting abilities will now use updated faction-specific area of, ooh, that's visual polish. That's pretty. Shroud will now spread up the amount of times I've placed an effigy thinking Shroud was on a spot and it wasn't because it didn't go up ramps. It didn't make any sense. And thank you, Frost Giant. Thank you so much. Will now display on the mini-map too. Change the appearance of trees it touches. And all infernal structures now emit Shroud. All of these make sense. It's a little bit more on the creep perspective, but this just makes sense. And I think this is going to be this is just kind of step 1 on kind of the Infernal redesign. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. I like these changes, though. It's not creep, like Zerg creep, but it's a little bit more in that direction in a way that makes sense without just copying the mechanics. So campaign, with the launch of 0.4, the campaign experience is getting a massive upgrade. So today, when this video goes live, is going to be the last time you could ever play the old campaign. I don't know why you would want to go back and play it, but if you have, If you want to go play it one last time for nostalgia's sake, just to compare the two, this is the opportunity. New storylines, cinematic cutscenes, art, audio, mission design, and more. New campaign hub. It's just everything. It's like just 4 times better or more. Also, major hero reworks, including full overhaul for Amara. I wonder if those hero abilities are going to fall into co-op, because they're not really actively developing co-op right now. But maybe, I don't know. First 3 campaign missions will be available for free to all players. Update 4 through 6 will be available for purchase. If you already have them, you already have them. That's not changing around. Providing more free missions to new players. So our plan is to make the first 5 missions free to play for everyone in a future update. And the paid bundle and Founders Packs will include mission access to missions 6 through 8. So I wonder why not now? So, that's a little weird. I wonder if this is just we're kind of gating our progress behind, people that are dedicated enough to pay for it right now. So it's kind of this idea that, yeah, it's a work in progress. I wonder if it's, yeah, I don't know. That's a little weird to me. If someone knows and you have an idea as to why this is, put in the comments down below. That might not be the most popular idea. It might not be super. Getting 5 missions as the kind of the free pack, I think, will be popular, but like time gating it like this without a clear reason why, I think that's going to get some blowback. So they got new mission names, new campaign hubs to explore, mission brief to retry an old mission. You have progression, meta progression, combat engineering, and Xeno research. Conversion system, conversation system allows you to talk with key crew members. We've seen some hints of this where there's it's like a placard idea. And I think that's great for the budget that Stormgate is. It doesn't have to be fully animated cutscenes for everything. That's totally fine. And we won't get that Uncanny Valley Tempest Rising where the lips just don't sync at all. And it's like, ooh, this is not great. An item stash allows you to unload and store items. Thank goodness. It's like, I'm carrying these items between missions, but I don't really want all of them all the time. Heroes gain XP and advance in levels of mission to mission. Oh, that's cool. So you got kind of the co-op idea. Transmission system now supports animated video calls with scratchy static and screen distortion effects. Post-game stats and graphs from 1v1 are now coming to campaign. That felt like only a matter of time, but that's great. Blockade and Riker are now playable and more. I do get to choose your loadout. That would be really cool. Being able to choose which who you take with you on your mission sounds like a lot of fun. Checkpoint and save load. You can now choose any checkpoint you've passed in the level instead of just the last one. That's really nice. Mara's kit has been reworked with new abilities and customizable traits, including a Bullet Storm Spiral, charge-based AoE ability with traits for enemy recovery, energy recovery, teleporting, shielding, and debuffing enemies. So when you get XP, you can, I guess, put points into this, kind of like a MOBA hero or something, but out of mission. Blitzfire tactics, buff nearby allies with traits that enhance speed, damage, and refresh mechanics. Guardian Core, summon a healing drone with optional shielding, decoys, and trait stacking. Full salvo, heavy hitting, and area bombardment with traits to increase impact and reduce delay. Sounds fun. No complaints here. We're going to have to see. I mean, this is a very short amount of changelog for the campaign is new. And I'll probably be playing it on stream later this week. Working through it all because I'm very excited to try this out. Versus, all leaderboards will be reset. Not surprised there because there are some big balance changes. All update, or AI updates. AI has been split to easy, normal, and hard instead of like the more obtuse names they had for it. It was like Practice Bot, Practice Bot Pro. It was weird. AI constructs unit compositions in a more focused manner. These compositions can transition throughout the game and can vary from match to match. Ooh, that's good. So it's not like I'm going to pick this type of, like when StarCraft, like they're going to play a macro eco game and they're not going to do it very well, but you just know what's going to come. This means that you're going to have to scout theoretically. AI will now research upgrades for units that is focused on building. Will now cast basic abilities on units. Does a better job of scouting the map for enemy units and attacking what it finds instead of blindly attacking the opponent's main base. A little bit more like a player. Not quite there. And I'm obviously not as good as a player, but, but probably a little bit better. Next level using AI would be like a really cool approach of just like using modern machine learning techniques and just get a bunch of replays and train AI on your average gold leaguer and your average platinum and silver diamond master or like diamond masters, whatever. And then you can say, I want to play against a gold league opponent. again, gold league equivalent opponent, and you have the AI that's trained against those replays, and it's really good practice. Like, that sounds awesome. That sounds really cool. Obviously, it probably might take a little bit more compute than Frost Giant has access to, but like in the future, if the game develops, that would be such a cool feature. Co-op. Oh, we are talking about co-op. With the release of 0.4, no co-op mode is not receiving the vast majority of recent changes coming to Stormgate. To preserve gameplay stability and prevent compatibility issues, co-op portion of Stormgate was intentionally frozen prior to the extensive faction changes introduced. As a result, players will notice that co-op still uses legacy unit models, including the Brute, Fiend, Gaunt, Bob, Hedgehog, Hornet, and others. Ooh, no Hornet. I didn't think we were going to get it. The cutscenes looked like it was old Hornet. Our goal is to apply the latest version of these models and other updates to co-op in the future, after we've completed some necessary engineering work on our back end to better support the application of game data from mode to mode. So co-op is going to be there, but we know this, but it's not a development focus right now. Thank you for giving us grace on this. Leveling XP to drop average time for getting hero level 20 from 24 hours to 18.5 hours. Okay. Cosmetics, previously only available as Twitch Drop, the adorable Rizzy Kitty Pet and Glitch Mode mod Fog Shader are now available for purchase in the in-game store. Launch discount of 50% off. Okay, they added some stuff. Replays, added a button in the replay browser to open the replay folder from the game. Thank you. Small things, but thank you. A button on the login screen to access the replay browser. Login screen that we bypass. Double-clicking replay now plays the replay in game. Added more replay preview information. Oh, yes, I can see who it is. Maybe I'll see what the map is. Oh, thank you, Frost Giant. Small things. And I still can't use an observer, but we're still not there, but something. Obviously, replay functionality was not necessarily the focus of this patch, but you know. Audio. Unit deaths for Vanguard and Infernal are now more visceral and impactful. Good. Remove the VO volume setting and combine it with other sound effects. Added a mute unit responses audio option, volume slider, and mute setting for ambient sound. Hopefully, this also means that the audio balancing is going to continue to improve. And I think there's new audio sounds as well. So, art. Praise Alan Dilling. Vanguard, new servo motto, replacing the Bob. New Hedgehog. New Hornet. New Evac. Did not expect to see a new Evac and a new Hornet. This was not something that I talked about with Alan, but hey, I'm not complaining. Also, the EXO has been improved. It's not new, but it has been improved. Infernals, new Brute, new Fiend, new Gaunt, new Fiend. We have two new Fiends. New Phantom. What is that from co-op? Is that from campaign? What is a Phantom? New unit? New Spriggan texture and new Flayed Dragon texture. So they're not redoing the entire model. They're just making it look a little prettier. Also, new Riker. Man, the new Malak model looks sick, by the way. Also, new NPC models for Terra, Suyi, and Taggart, like a lot of the NPCs. So they look not as weird. Awesome. Thank you. Fixing a ton of bugs. Versus the announcer will now state when you are attempting to build in an obstructed area, building a new central command shrine or arc ship will no longer auto-rally workers to Therium. That was a little annoying. Thank you, Frost Giant. Fix a unit where glaive bounce prioritizes arch. They've told us they fixed this like 4 times. Hopefully it's actually fixed this time. Charge jump abilities no longer get their units stuck inside doodad structures or terrain. I'm not a Vanguard player, but watching Vulcans get stuck in places was sad. Glad it's fixed. Co-op. Fixed a unit where selected Fogger War Shaders were not displaying in co-op matches. Riker no longer ignores commands when using his tuck and roll ability. I'm sure that was annoying. And destroying all of a player's structures and workers will now trigger a defeat. Sure. I didn't play co-op. I didn't know if that was a problem. Art. Projectile attacks now attack the middle of a structure instead of the ground. This was something that Alan was talking about, where they've gone and done a lot of work on making projectiles just look a little bit better. Skymine now dies properly. Shadow Cleft will now properly appear with cracks when health is low. That's nice. Turn down the strike node projectile impact to be not as bright. Good. I was being blinded. Minimap icons are easier to see. Okay. So audio. every time, I mean, the audio keeps, it's not, well, we'll see where it is now, but audio keeps getting better. It's not where it needs to be in 0.3, but keeps getting better. So Hex and Death is now properly tied to a sound mixer. Good. In projectile audio was inconsistent. Riker commands no longer interrupts his VO. Saber wouldn't play audio. Victory music at the end of a match now properly tied to the volume slider. Countdown sound effects are properly tied to the volume slider. So a lot of things that just make it so you can actually control your audio, which is good. I would love for them to fix the bug where the game audio is only set to the proper device when you open up settings. Otherwise, it kind of goes to the general. But that's like a very specific setting that's unique to people that have like multiple audio channels. But I'm no longer getting deafened when I close the game, so that's good. BuddyBot no longer focuses on building a large number of non-combat units and instead will actually be helpful. Good. Hotkey. A lot of the hotkeys were a big improvement in 0.3, but they were pretty buggy. So Ability 6 has a hotkey button. Alt Space as a hotkey should now work. This was a bug that was kind of reintroduced where some modifiers didn't work properly. Fixed an issue where hotkeys would not reset to default when reset to default. That seems important. Where the assigned cancel hotkey would not cancel Prism production from arrays. Seems important. Where the cancel hotkey from Scrapyard would not cancel. So when cancel wasn't working, fixed an issue where Alt Tab would get stuck. This is actually a bug in multiple games. So it's not just a Stormgate thing, but I'm glad they're fixing it. That's good. Fixing Alt-E no longer triggers the E command, for example. And assign all hotkey now properly assigns the hotkey to all groups instead of just the selected unit. So good, as expected. When you turn off control group indicator in settings, it will no longer ignore your wishes. Good. Reset all categories will no longer set your video. It did that. Oh, that's not good. Skull Asheta can now be auto-added. That's good. And instant morph cores that morph into buildings will now be correctly removed from control groups. Yeah, that was annoying, where you're like, why do I have a Shadow Cleft in my hockey group? Low spec machines are now happier. FPS network on-screen stats would block mouse inputs. Or Hornets invacs were difficult to select. In-game frame rate limit now defaults to unlimited instead of 60. Custom game lobbies didn't always show the host name of the list. Chatbox would no longer interfere with mouse clicks. End of the game stats were showing way more units killed than intended. Crazy no targetable through Fog of War. Now, the one thing I want is for turning off edge scroll to actually turn off edge scroll. Not there yet, but I would love that. End of game stats. End of game stats would sometimes be blank. End of game stats for gathered resources would no longer end abruptly for one player. Where winning, losing versus custom game would not bring up the score screen. Nice. I mean, there are so many bug fixes here. Intact structures would appear damaged while paused. On replays. Fixed an issue where replays would get stuck in a pause state if vision is changed while paused. Maybe this fixes the minute 0 one as well. Fixes excessively skipping around replays will no longer cause a crash. I've experienced that one quite a bit. Not all replay files would appear in the in-game replay list, and skipping backwards and forwards through replay will no longer cause the structure to become stuck. Awesome. Hopefully this also fixes the issue where sometimes the replay lobby will show up when you enter into a replay. That was a little annoying. Fix an issue where min-spec machines would get stuck on the load screen when entering a map. Adjusting quality benchmarks and fix DLSS super resolution and frame gen settings. Okay. Various crashes with low-end GPUs at boots. Lots of bug fixes. Obviously, there will be more. This is early access. I expect there to be more bugs, but a lot of bug fixes. Now we get to the balance notes. They made a lot of changes. So while the patch is primarily focused on the balance update, on the campaign update, we've also made a bunch of changes to verses to improve the experience in a various amount of ways. First of all, please nerf the Hellborn. It's monobattle, it's annoying. But let's take a look at what they're doing. Remove the starting units that were causing... thank you! I have been talking about this for multiple patches now. No one liked the scout. The concept of an early game scouting unit is fine, but the fact that it could interact was a problem, was not very good. It messed with your build. It was not fun. It was free. It also gave Infernals too much early game creeping power. Now this may mess with Infernal. We'll see how it works out, but I can drop my natural down. I can drop my structures. My God, I'm so excited about this change. Increasing the movement speed of most units to allow for more action-packed gameplay, which is fun. Decreasing the cost and health of tier 1 units across the board. Better differentiate tier 1 versus higher tier, also to make increasing or decreasing time to kill a little bit, which makes fights a little bit more dynamic. Revamping various Infernal mechanics and systems for more streamlined gameplay, which I assume is like step 1 of Infernal 2.0. Probably not all the way there, but step 1. Changing the construction mechanic of all workers to a charge-based system to make missing worker production less mechanically punishing and to more easily enable comebacks if there's a significant amount of worker deaths, assuming you have enough structures, enough town halls. Reducing the effectiveness of both defensive structures and defensive top bar mechanics. We're doing it again. Love that. So, general, starting resources increased from 150 to 300, which means you get your base very quickly. Pretty much you can go and you should be able to expand first for every faction. I think by the time a worker gets to the natural, you'll have mine enough to get an expansion. You no longer start the game with a unit. Awesome. Most units of the game are 10 to 25% faster. Bob, Imp, Prism, Morph Core, so the workers and town halls are unchanged. Everything else moves faster. Helicarrier, 10%. Good. It should be plotting. It should be slow, but maybe a little faster makes it more fun. Atlas, Weaver, and Saber, a little bit more faster. Vulcan, Magmadon, Hellborn, Animancer, a little bit faster. Exo, Medtech, Graven, Felhog. The small units get a lot faster. A lot of the units get a lot faster. So Lancer will still be able to run down. Wait a minute. Where is the Gaunt? Did I miss that? Yeah, so Lancer will still be able to run down the Gaunt. That's that kind of gap still remains, but it should be a little bit more interesting. Also, the Archangel. The fact that grounded Archangel's 5.5 movement speed seems kind of crazy. That's a very fast, very heavy boy. Hornet, Sentinel, Vector, Seraphim moving much faster. Evac, Archangel, the Flying Archangel moving much faster. But most importantly here, man, Spriggan's the Flayed Dragon is going to zoom. It doesn't have a good turn rate, so it's still not going to be super fast in that way, but it's going to zoom. Many structures are constructed faster. Note that some Infernal structures increase build time due to Infernal structures gaining a 50% build speed bonus on Shroud, making Shroud more interesting. So Command Post, Sentry Post, Shrine, Shroud Stone. So things that mine for the most part are unchanged, and looks like a lot of the key structures for Vanguard, because, you know, making them move faster and power build on top of it and overcharge power build, that seems way too strong. So power bank, a little bit faster. Habitat cut in half. Man, you power build. That's gonna be like 4 Bobs is gonna be like a 3-second habitat build or something, which is nice. That means you're not gonna be punished for being supply blocked as much while still being punished in some way. Meat farm slowed down by a little bit. Production structures by a little bit. Let's take a look at the Infernal structure. So Infernal structures are actually slower off Shroud, but faster on Shroud. So it's 60 to 40 for Vault, Conclave, Spire, but 80 off Shroud. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. Guardian X is a little bit slower, actually. Interesting. Everything else moves. Everything else gets built a lot faster, but the Guardian X is going to be slower. Ritual Chamber, Shadow Cliff. Again, this is just really encouraging Shroud production and de-incentivizing proxies, or kind of the way a laser plays, which is like, I'm going to run imps out. I'm going to get a structure on the map as quickly as possible. So, Vanguard changes. Bob, replaced with servos. Maximum. Okay, I expected there to be 3 charges. Maximum 5 charges. Does the town hall, does the command post start with 1 charge? How many charges does it start with? It's actually a really important question. Medtech, system shock speed bonus is decreased. Probably here just to make up for how much everything moves faster across the board. So it's going to be kind of equivalent regardless. Repairmatic, sensor array, flat cannon, med station, ambush post. Health decreased from 450 to 400. Okay, fair. Means some of those sentry post rushes are not going to be quite as strong. And the buzzsaw cannon also loses some HP. So yeah, the sentry post rushes, not quite as strong. Infernals are where the big changes happen, though. So Infernal units no longer have white health. They only have their health rebalanced. They've had their health rebalanced to account for this. So no unique shielding mechanic for Infernals anymore. Upgrading shrines no longer increases white health generation. Does it increase HP across the army. Infernal units now regenerate health on Shroud while out of combat. Most Infernal units regenerate 2 HP per second with the following exceptions. Harbinger gets a little bit more, still higher tech units. Infernal structures now regenerate health. Getting a shrine out of like 15% HP and just not being able to do anything about it for the entire game was just so annoying. So I love this. Infest has been reframed as Curse. Cursed units will now spawn phantoms when they die, while brutes will spawn fiends when they sunder soul. Okay, so that's where the phantoms come in. That's the new model we were talking about. A maximum animus decreased from 1,000 to 200. Summon effigy animus cost is doubled. Strauss magnification cost by 1.5. Infernal structures now emit Shroud. So yeah, we saw that earlier on. Infernal structures now build 50% faster on Shroud. Okay, so you're not gonna have a like infinite Shroud or infinite animus in the late game, which I think probably makes a lot of sense. I think that's probably, you just get more animus than you could spend in the late game. So this does put a hard cap on that resource, which I think is that rebalances late game. So you're not just gonna have like infinite hell spawn. You're not gonna just, this does rebalance things quite a bit. I think that's a good change. So Imp have moved just to 85 HP, so halfway between the 90 on the 90 with white health. Interesting. So charges up to 5. It's interesting that in general we're not seeing like split in the middle. So for example, Imps go to 85 HP, which is like white health minus 5, and I guess that's how they're doing this. So regular health plus white health minus 5, so 195 HP. Cost has been increased a little bit, made smaller yet again. We have a new model, so it's going to be hard to really judge. But weapon period, they attack a little bit faster. They attack a little bit. Their swing period, so just in general, they attack a little bit faster. Sunder Soul no longer gives you white health because white health does not exist. Sunder Soul movement speed increased from 15% to 30% to the resulting fiends. So fiends with like, they're going to be really fast off a Sundered Soul. No longer has Sulfur Descendants and Sundering Soul Craze abilities upgrades. Yeah, good. Those were kind of boring. New ability, Infernal Fury. The Brute launches towards an enemy unit, slamming and stunning it for half a second on impact. Enemy units cannot be stunned this way more than once every 2 seconds. If a Brute slams the enemy unit in Shroud, it gains 50% bonus attack speed for 5 seconds. You got to get the upgrade. So this actually leads room some really interesting micro where you just kind of A-move. You might have multiple slams on the same target, which is not great, but you can go and like target your brutes as they're charging in on a bunch of different units. That's going to be a lot more effective. So incentivizing interesting micro. So the research not only does it allow that ability, it also means that they move 25% faster. Also, Fiend Explosion, which is the tier 3 upgrade, allows brutes to spawn 2 additional fiends when they perish, including when they sunder soul. So you still get that back. It's a little bit different. They've changed the name. Fiend, health 250. So not regular health plus white health minus 5. Now drops 1 corpse on death. We're going to see something with this corpse mechanic later on. I'm curious what that is. Now no longer immune to no longer immune to curse. New passive, Unholy Rend, minus armor. Okay. Fiends a lot more interesting now. Phantom spawns when a unit dies when cursed. Has a timed life of 30 seconds. Going back to the original Fiends there, but that's good. Health changed from 10 to 30. I don't know what it was, I guess changing from the Fiend. Okay, so 30 HP. They don't last very long. They 50 veterancy on death compared to 100 for Fiends. So they're not going to like spawning these all over the place is not going to go and like just jack up the Vanguard army, which is good. So 540 HP on the Magmadon instead of 600 equivalent. Consume no longer restores white health. Instead, it restores 25% of a unit's max health. Is that the Magmadon's max health, or is that the unit that it consumes? I'm assuming Magmadon's max health. That would make more sense. We'll see. The Hellborn has been reworked again for like the 7th time. Reworked to be a mid-range single target anti-heavy unit. Cost changed from 300 125 to 275 75, so significant cost buffs. Health changed from 325 equivalently to 240, so significant HP nerfs. Supply cost dropped a little bit, damage changed to 75 versus heavy, 30 versus everything, and instead of 60 versus heavy, 90 versus heavy structures. Weapon period massively improved. Range significantly dear. Yeah, 14 range, which is just too much. Weapon period. Okay, that's a doubled up on the patch notes there, but yeah. So you attack every 1.3 seconds instead of every 3 seconds. No longer splashes. The Molten Touch trait now has been reworked and now reads on hit that lights the target on fire, reduces the healing. I talked about this. I talked about this a bit ago. And I'm like, I think healing reduction on some of these abilities, I think that would be very interesting and give you really interesting counterplay against the kind of the mech Vanguard and some other things. So healing reduction by 90, and they just didn't have tech at the time. So healing reduction by 90% and 10 DPS. Still requires an upgrade. I like this. I think Miasma, if we see if the Hexen changes, I think Miasma should do that as well. We'll see. That's just what I think. Gaunt. Cost decreased by 25 Luminite. Health decreased. They are not tanky at all anymore. Gaunts can now curse enemy units and attacks by default. It no longer needs an upgrade to do so. What are the Gaunt upgrades then? Do they just remove? Do you only just have a speed upgrade now? Do you only have... what's it called? Do you only have the Gaunt speed upgrade and not Plague Axes? We'll see. Hexen. Health decreased by 20. So, okay, no, I was hoping, but I guess Curse is a new ability, so we'll see. Bloodburst range is actually going to be AoE now. I like that. That's target acquisition range, I think. So they can actually bomb in. Felt kind of hard to get Shadow Flyers to apply otherwise. Spriggans now have the Gaunt effect, where you build them 2 at a time, cost unchanged, so each Spriggan is half as expensive. Their supply cost is decreased by a lot, but they are, that's a haircut. 200 HP to 80. No longer attacked 3 times. Now they just attack once. Damage increased from 3+3 to 6+3. So effective damage decreased from 18 versus heavy to 9 versus heavy, but you get 2 of them, so it's about the same. But the range has been decreased as well. So you can have a flock of Spriggans rather than just a couple. For most of the game, and it's less expensive to lose 1, but each individual one is not as effective. This might be, I think this makes Spriggans a little bit better, not by a ton, but we'll see. Weaver, health changed by not a ton, 400, by a lot. 500 to 380. Consume is the same thing, where it's 25% of 380, you get your health back. Shadow Flyers, health changed from 75 to 65, so nerfed a little bit. Harbinger, health changed from 325 down to 290. But they do get regen. They have like 5 regen, I think it was. Or 3 regen. They get a lot. What was the regen? Harbinger 3. So they actually get a little bit more regen, which is good. Means you're kind of in the situation where it's like, I have this Harbinger and it takes some damage. I'm never using it for the rest of the game. Flayed Dragon. Cost has been increased again. 750, 750. No longer cost Animus. So it's a top bar ability, I assume with a cooldown. No longer cost Animus. And Hail Poison now restores health instead of white health. Fair enough. Health changed, so 100 effective HP less. And actually, this is a big one because it has 9 HP regen per second, but you would get so much Animus back if you're fighting on Shroud with tier 3. So yeah, this is actually I'm not gonna. It's not. I don't know how significant it is, but it is an effective nerf. Shroudstone has lost 50 HP. Wraithstone has lost 100 HP. Remember, some of this is you got back by HP regen, but still. Celestials, all top power abilities, max charges to 2. Thank you. Morph Core now uses charges to construct. Max 3 charges. Now uses max 1 charge on the prism. So what we had before. Although I guess it doesn't have, you can build it instantly maybe. So maybe not quite what we had before. Argent. Health decreased. Build time decreased. Argent rushes back on the menu, even if they're not as tanky. Kree, cost down by 100 or 25 Luminite. Build faster, but health decreased. Okay. Scanner buffed. but they're pieces of paper now. I would like to see a world where scanners are useful, but there's not a ton of invisible things right now, so we're gonna have to see how that one's gonna work. I do like Kree getting a bit of a cost buff, but I think really what we should see happen is Argents should cost Therium and Kree shouldn't. I think that's the only way we break out of this Argent meta. Strike Node has been nerfed a little bit in terms of HP, and Warp Node has been also nerfed a little bit in terms of HP. So overall, I'm really excited about these Infernal changes. I love some of the overarching changes that they made. Units will be faster. They're going to be a little bit less tanky, so time to kill decreases a little bit. No early game units. Interesting. It was an interesting experiment, but it was just kind of clear that it was kind of toxic. Overall, I am very excited to try these changes out. There will be a Stormgate Sundays, or Wednesdays, I guess, at this point. 6 p.m. Central on Wednesday evening. So I would love if you would join me on that one as we explore these new changes. I'll be streaming some campaign later in the week once that is dropped. Guys, 0.4, not the biggest 1v1 changes, but 0.4 is massive. And I cannot wait to see what's in store. So if you like this, you want to stay on top of Stormgate, you want to make sure you are able to watch the interview I'm doing with Tim Campbell and Mickey Nielsen. I'm recording Friday. It'll be out like the following Monday. Make sure you go sub to the channel. Follow me on Twitch so you can catch Stormgate Nexus live or Stormgate Sundays on a Wednesday and all those things. And I'll catch you next time.